talk, real thought. With Kenny J. Real talk, real thought. With Kenny J.
What's going on, everybody? It's me, Kenny J, in here in these social media streets, man, trying to give you good content and get information. So this is my introduction to this show that I'm putting together called Real Talk, Real Thought. I want to personally thank you and thank you for sharing. Thank you for kind of touching base. Thank you for kind of, starting to be in the mixer with everything that I have going on. So appreciative of all the support, but this thing here is a little new to me. So with all the mistakes that could be happening, everything that could be going completely wrong, we're going to try to do our very, very best to make sure this thing happens the way it needs to. So I am officially welcoming everybody to this show. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate everything that you guys have done. And I say that all the time because I'm very humbled and thankful that you guys are supporting what I'm doing. So, welcome to Real Talk, Real Thought. So, I got to get this thing right. I got to say it a couple of times to get it together. But we're going to make it right. We're going to do what we got to do. So, I'm no expert in relationship. I'm not a person that's went to school or got to get a degree and to know about all of these things that people go through. But I do have, if I'm not an expert, I do have a good amount of experience in so many different aspects of relationships. And I thought it was important that as we, as artists, write and as we unpack and as we dive into our thought process to get these songs out to the world, that the audience gets the chance to understand and see the thought patterns that go behind them and interpret them. Hopefully, when I write songs or when any artist writes songs, hopefully these songs could be something of inspiration to you, to help you in your relationship. So we're going to start unpacking so many different things, some songs that I write, some songs that other artists write, and hopefully with this platform, we can introduce some artists that you've never heard, and we can kind of get to know. So we're not here to critique in any way. We're not trying to say that somebody's good or bad. We're here unpacking the thought process or the thought-provoking statements or meanings behind different things. So I'm just going to read you a simple mission statement, and I think that's important if we're going to do something to kind of help people on. So our mission here is to discuss and unpack themes and messages of impactful songs in order to bring clarity and understanding with hopes of empowering, embracing, and enhancing positivity in relationships. That's the thing that we're doing. So I don't know about you, but it's important to me that we get good information, good music out there, good information, good music out there, with hopes that it's going to help our lives become a little better. So we're going to have some fun today. And the first song up today is going to be a song that I wrote for Back to Rhythm and Love Volume 1. Now, I have this conversation very often regarding fatherhood and my new normal with the loss of my bride last year. It's something important to me that I be there for my kids and I not be the main character in destroying their lives by my ignorance or my dysfunction that I have going on in my head. So I have these conversations with myself as well as my daughters and my children, trying to help them get through this level or this next level of adulthood. So this song, Protect Your Heart, written by myself, was born out of a conversation that I had with my daughter. So this conversation was very intense because I would imagine that she, at this time in her life, um, um, will be kind of trying to kind of pull on her mom. Unfortunately, she lost her, and I need to be there. I just find it necessary for me to be there for her to make certain that I can provide her with the answers or help with providing answers. I'm a dad. That's just something that we have to do because life happens. And I said this the other day, life does not care about anything other than doing what it's supposed to do. Life is going to be life. Life is just going to do what it's going to do. And life sometimes doesn't even care about you. Let's be honest. life doesn't. Life just is going to be, it's going to kind of go and do what it does. And we have to accept it and figure out ways how to get over it or cope with what life gives us. So the Protect Your Heart song was written out of an aspect. I had a conversation with my daughter some time ago regarding a situation that she was in because a young man was trying to infiltrate herself, her person, and was doing it irresponsibly, in my opinion. And I think that's a level of relativity um, when we talk that, because sometimes people are not exposed to healthy, functioning sort of activity when it comes to approaching women. And she told me the guy, was very, I would say rude. I would say rude from what I can see, because he was trying to really go for something um, that he wasn't necessarily qualified to go for. And from where I'm from, um, uh, uh, sex and all of that conversation seems to be taboo. But this day, this 21st century, it's important to have these conversations, because if we don't have these conversations, what happens normally is our children are probably going to be out there, trying to figure out their way with no roadmap at all, because we haven't shown them some things that they should be doing, or at least paying attention to. So it's my job as a dad, as I stated earlier, to make sure that I'm giving my daughter very, very good, clear information. I heard another quote. It says this: sex is good. Hear me. Sex is good, but it's better when you find someone that loves you. Right? Sex is good. You could take a note of that if you want. Sex is good, but it's better when you have that level of intimacy with a person that loves you. So this individual that my daughter came in contact with was really trying to get close to her and didn't have some very, very important information about her. He didn't know her color, favorite color. He didn't know her mom. He didn't know me. And how does men or boys without a level of direction, and even if they do, I must say this: sometimes they even they get the information, they don't utilize it. This day is a lot different, because sometimes the gentleman may not get the information, and so I don't know. I can't really unpack that for him, but from the way I see it, he was really trying to get something that he wasn't qualified to get. And it's important that when you teach your children, they understand that they have to protect their heart. And this song that I wrote was really born out of that. It was born out of that mindset. It was born out of that, to protect your heart. Now let me add this: even though there's children and kids that we have to parent, there's a level of responsibility that we have to have, even in ourselves as grown people, as adults, to protect our heart, because there are people who are manipulated by whatever, they're motivated by whatever, to take whatever you have to utilize for him, and to utilize for them. And sometimes that's manipulative. And even us, we have to, even in my experiences, you have to be careful on who you let into your heart, because sometimes those situations can become weird and just kind of overtly crazy, that it will disrupt your life if you're not careful. So let's unpack this song. So this is what we're here for: to unpack the song, to have a conversation about it. And feel free to hit the comments, get in those comments, have a great time. I don't care what your perspective is. I don't care if I'm wrong. Get in there and voice your opinion, because look, you are entitled to your opinion, just like I'm entitled to mine. And then we're going to unpack this, because there might be something that I can be changed on. Who knows? I don't know. Let's do it. Have fun. So stay tuned. We'll be back after Kenny J sings this phenomenal song called Protect Your Heart, and we're going to unpack it. All right?
He tried to break you down all the way to the ground. You feel like you were going crazy. He lied to you, put the blame on you, 'cause I know you caught him with her and he still blamed you. He said he loved you, he said he cared, he said he'll be there, that's what he said. His narcissistic attitude pushed the love far from you. Now he wants to put all the blame on you. Oh woman's intuition. Left alone can damage love for her and care for him. Protect the gift inside of you, a treasure worth the love in you. Protect your heart, don't just give it away no more. Protect your love, don't just give it away to just anyone.
I hope you enjoyed that song from Kenny J. That comes off of the EP that I did this past year, July 10th. Protect Your Heart is on that record. So many great songs on that record, and I want you guys to go out and support. Check it out, get the record, and we'll be coming back with a whole bunch of other stuff. But let's just unpack this song. Song says protect your heart, right? Protect your heart. Let me read this chorus. It says, protect your heart. Don't just give it away no more. Protect your heart. Don't just give it away to anyone. Do you know how important that statement is? Because sometimes in our daily walk and in our life, we find ourselves giving our heart away to anyone who can take it, anyone who we believe can hold on to it. Here's what's crazy about that. Sometimes those same individuals that we may give our heart to may not be in a healed mindset or may not have a healed mindset themselves. And what happens is it's irresponsible. It would be irresponsible for you to give them their heart when you know for yourself, or you may not know. Who knows? I don't know. When you give your heart to these people, have them tried and true. If they don't know how to do certain things, if they are unhealed themselves, what happens normally, if they will get your heart and they will take it for granted, they won't do the very things that they need to make sure they maintain it. And what happens sometimes is they could destroy you if you're not careful. So protect your heart. Don't just give it away no more. This is emphatic. Just don't do it again. Protect your heart. Don't just give it away to anyone. So the first verse says this. He tried to break you down all the way to the ground, made you feel like you were going crazy. I don't know how many times we have been in situations where men and women alike had been tore down, have been broken down all the way to the ground. And sometimes people make you feel like you the one that's going crazy. You ever felt that? So the second verse said, he lied to you, of course, that he is interchangeable. I'm writing this from my perspective, right? So he could be, in interchangeable, it could be a she. He put the blame on you because this is what's crazy. I know you caught him with her, but he still blames you. So that's narcissistic within itself. And I kind of go here. I said, he said he loves you. He said he cared. He said he'll be there. That's what he said. His narcissistic attitude pushed the love far away from you. Now he wants to put the blame on you. How do we get put into situations? How do we get put into situations where a person can do the wrong thing, but then turn around and blame it on you like you did something wrong? So, this is what our goal needs to be. We need to really just figure out and really be clear and healed when we get into these various situations. Because if we do not get healed in these various situations, what happens normally is we could be in a relationship, we can be in a situation and it's not prospering into the way it should go. And what happens is you will fail and you have to start this thing all over again. This is real talk, real thought. Let's dive into this thing. All right. So women know this is another part of that first verse. It says a woman's intuition left alone. Okay, I say a woman's intuition left alone can damage her love to care for him. A woman's intuition, women have this thing called intuition. And if you, I'm sure women know what I'm talking about. If you leave that level of discernment that you have in your spirit, in your heart, if you leave it alone to care for someone else, you are doing a disservice to yourself. You have something inside of you. Men have the same thing. It's just not called intuition. It's just called maybe discernment or just like, I have some insight on something. That's why it's very clear, we should find ourselves in quiet places sometimes, just relaxing, just trying to hear ourselves talk to us. It's very important, right? So a woman's intuition left alone can damage her love to care for him. Yes, so your woman intuition, if you leave it alone, that's there to protect you. It's there to protect your heart. If you disregard it, and if you disregard it, it's going to damage your love, but it shouldn't. It's there to keep you clear. It's there to keep you conscious. It's there to keep you, kind of on point and on purpose and intentional with what you do. That those things are put there to protect you. Don't disregard it to protect some sort of love, or don't put it there or disregard it, because what it will do is damage your love, right? So don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Let's do better. This 21st century, we're going into another year, 2025 at some point. We need to make sure that we're putting ourselves in great situations that's going to help us during our next season in our life, our next seasons in our life. So we need to make certain that we're putting ourselves in great situations. So we have to first go back to this. We have to make sure that our hearts are healed. If we do not make sure that our hearts are healed, what happens is when you do get introduced to that individual that's going to help you get to that level, you're not going to treat that thing right. You're not going to do the right thing. You're not going to do the right thing. So let's do better. Let's keep on going. So the chorus gets back into protect your heart. Don't just give it all away. Don't just give it away. Don't just give it away no more. Protect your hearts. Just don't give it away no more. Let's just make that something that we declare and we decree, as the church would say. Make sure we're putting those things out there and make sure that we're not giving our heart away to the wrong person. Right? So the second verse says, yes, you could be wrong, but are you really? So your intuition is going to kind of give you that insight on whether or not you're wrong or not. Because let's be honest, sometimes women can definitely be wrong with their commentary of what a man, and sometimes a man commentary can be even wrong what a woman is trying to do. So I think we need to be conscious and have a conversation. How difficult would it be? And sometimes it is difficult for some people, but how difficult would it be for us to have a sit down and talk? I'll tell you some of my experience. My experience has always been, I shied away from having conversations, and me shying away from those conversations made things unclear, right? So when you shy away from those conversations, things become unclear, and here we go with just assumptions. And when you assume, I'm not going to get into that, but when you assume, you absolutely do a disservice to yourself, because it's easy to have a conversation, but what I've been doing in many cases is not having conversations that were very, very hard to have. And I found out that having those conversations, those hard conversations, are going to help you, but you have to put yourself in those great situations to be able to do that. That's going to kind of facilitate you protecting your heart. Have conversations that are not necessarily easy. Have them, because then those conversations will become easier and you'll be able to get through them very fast and have great relationships, right? So let me say this also. This is the second part of the second verse. It says, don't always accept the flowers gift and to sit and talk about that bullish is what I say. This is just a little writing, little thing. So sometimes we remove the conversation, we remove the clarity, and we go straight for the flowered gifts and to sit and talk about the same things that we've been already talking about. How about we do away with the flowers, we do away with the gifts. Let's make the gifts giving be the gift of information. Let's sit down and have a clear conversation so we can unpack these issues, unpack these things, so we can have a phenomenal relationship and enjoy each other. What happens sometimes, and I hate to keep going back to what happens, but I have to be clear and precise on some of these things, because if I'm not, what happens is, I don't want to be misunderstood, because there's always a positive, there's always a negative. But if we don't know what the negatives are and we go straight for the positives, when the negatives come, we're just kind of lost in the sauce. So we have to understand both sides of this thing so we can move where we want to. Hopefully, everybody wants to go into a direction where it's positive. So don't always accept these sorts of things. Accept the having a conversation. And let me add this. Sometimes even sex isn't the answer. Ooh, ooh, sometimes it's necessary to not even have sex because what sex does in many cases is cover up. And you're right back to where you was at the very beginning of it. So let's just kind of cut out all the things that's going to kind of mask the issues. So cut out sex, cut out having these flowers and the gifts and the sit down and talk about the same bullish. I know that might be hard for some people, but that's the truth. Some people just need the truth just put right in their face. Just sit down, cut out the bullish, and talk about the things that's going to get you right. So cut out some of those things. And I'll add this. Another aspect of it, and we must go here, because sometimes when we're put in situations that we're not clear on, that's an indication that we may have been taught wrong. We may have been taught incorrectly. And the other part of that that I to say word, the other part of that verse was this: He's been taught wrong. It's not your fault, love. Prepare your heart, babe, because he'll be gone. That's a very true statement. Because what happens if women aren't healed in their relationship? What they'll do is they'll accept any type of love and don't realize that that man is, or whoever that is going to kind of set them up for something else. He'll be gone doing something else, but you'll be sit there trying to pick up the pieces. That's why it's important to protect your heart. All right. I say this, which I love. It says he'll be on to the next one, the next adventure, right? And the next treasure that hasn't understood her worth. When men and women understand what they're worth, it's going to be difficult to infiltrate them in any other way. When a man and a woman understand what their worth is, and they're not willing to bend left or right, when they understand that what that is, and they are healed, it's going to be a easier road. Not that it's going to be easy, but it'll be an easier road to trying to get rid of whatever. It's necessary that you're healed, because when you're healed, you'll understand what your mission is, and you'll be able to kind of know when the foolishness is coming your way. And you got to be on point. You got to be on purpose. You got to know what that is for yourself, because if you do not, you're going to be leaving yourself out there open for any and everything. So I don't mean to preach to you. I don't mean to give you that. I speak this. So you got to protect your heart. Don't let anybody, don't leave that up to anybody else. Protect your heart. Don't leave that into the hands of anybody. Don't allow that to be somebody or something that somebody else takes up and does with. No, you use your heart and do it and protect it the best way you know heart. Do not leave your heart, which is a valuable commodity for you. Do not leave that up for anybody else to take hold of. It is your responsibility to keep up with your heart. So, third verse, and last and finally, not least, it says, make sure he treats your heart with love and care. Make sure he will be there. Your treasure is protected by you. Your treasure is protected by you. And I'll add this: if the access is denied, if he really doesn't love you, how about that? The access is denied if he really doesn't care for you. Now, I said it earlier and I'll say it again. This is something for men and women. So I wrote this song with the perspective of talking to a female, my daughter. But please make sure that you're utilizing these steps, utilizing these things with you, to make sure you can protect your heart and you can get into healthy relationships. These conversations that I love to have, I have these conversations privately. I have these conversations on many occasions throughout my podcasting and being on interviews and all that sort of thing. I think this is very, very important. I wrote a song called Love Is All We Need. Love Is All We Need is a very important song because it speaks to the world. And I think that's where we need to go as far as our artistry is concerned, to make sure when we're writing music and we're being more productive in this thing, music, because our music is being shared across the world. I'm in the Grammys right now. I'm a Grammy nominated. I'm sorry. I'm going to speak that into the existence. I will be Grammy nominated, but right now I am a Grammy voting member, and I'm in the process of getting my music heard across so many genres of music. And I've got accepted onto a ballot of being nominated for a Grammy, which is a great achievement. Big shouts to Kick Up Your Heels and everything and everybody there that's pushing that agenda. Um, and these are the type of songs that I think should be in the atmosphere. There's so many things going on in the world, from politics to our personal things that we have going on. So many different things. Um, with so many different ailments going on with mental health and so many different things, I think it's important that we protect ourselves, protect your love, protect the essence of you, and I guarantee you that your life will become better. Will it become great? Probably not. Who knows? I don't know. It could be, but we can't go into every day disrupting our lives by the bad decisions that we make because we either don't know, we don't go through the conversation and have the hard conversations that we need to have. So that's what this show is about. Having these discussions, enjoying ourselves, unpacking songs that I think is going to help us live a better life. So there will be guests at some time. I don't know. It may be live. I don't know. It may be a bunch of different things. Who knows? But stay with me. Stay here on this Real Talk, Real Thought show podcast with your man, with Kenny J. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll catch us next month. We're probably going to do this once a month. Take all of the mistakes as a learning curve. We're gonna get better at this, just commentating and being on this side of the camera. I want you guys to see the growth. I want you guys to support the music, support me. I really appreciate it. All of the information will be following the video, but I really want to leave you guys with something. Say the words to live by, but I'm going to say the words to love by because I think this is important. So be honest with you, never deceive you, be purposeful, be empowered, be motivated by love, and stay positive no matter what. Hopefully, those things to love by, to live by, it's going to help you in your daily walk. It's going to help you doing your day to day. It's going to help you with your information. It's going to help you with a bunch of different things. I love information. I love to hear different perspectives, no matter what walk of life you in, whatever you do. I think when you do these things and walk in these things, you'll live better. And that's real talk, real thought. That's going to that's going to help us be better at what we do. So in signing off, I just wanted to thank you guys again for all of your support. Stay supporting, like, comment, and share. And let's live better. Let's be better. Let's live better. Let's be better. That's real talk. That's real talk. That's real talk, real thought. That's real talk, real thought. I got to say this a million times because it's got to be something that's in my head. That's real talk, real thought with Kenny J. So stay tuned. You'll see all of the hashtags, all of the information you can kind of get in contact with me. And an artist, if you got music, you want me to kind of unpack it and hear it, I'd love to. Hit the DMs. Let's make this world a better place to live, right? Real talk, real thought. Peace. The views and ideas expressed in this podcast is not intended to defame, mislead, or misrepresent anyone's music or writing. They are solely used for informational, entertainment, and enlightening purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised.